Welcome back to another episode of The Average Uninformed. This week, Josh watched Dark Phoenix and gives us his breakdown and review. So grab a drink, sit back, and enjoy.
Oh, I love no springs. I got no springs to hold me down. Victor, how you doing this week?
I am super sick, but
Yeah, you
luckily
sound a little
today,
sick.
I can talk.
How's that Buckley's working for you?
I can still taste it.
Yeah,
It's awful.
I swear by it. It tastes awful, but it works. Hey, that's
Hey.
the tagline.
Is it? They should use that for the tagline.
That's cool.
Yeah, how about you? How are you today?
I'm all right. I'm a little exhausted. I did a lot of work this week, but
It's all right. Half day tomorrow.
don't tell my boss that.
I mean, double day tomorrow.
Yeah, I can pull some overtime. Unpaid overtime. Yeah, I'm doing okay though. I'm quite chipper.
Must be all that sugar you had earlier.
Yeah, I had a lot of sugar at the theater.
Did you pay attention to E3 this week?
I didn't watch any of the what do they call panels or anything like that, but I watched some trailers after the fact.
Which ones did you see?
I watched Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah.
That one looks good.
Yeah, I'm very surprised. When they first announced that, it looked a little kind of cheesy. Looked like it was setting up a lot for itself, but yeah, I wasn't expecting it to deliver. But based on a little bit of what I saw from that trailer, it looks pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know. That was all cinematics, right? There was no actual gameplay in it, right?
No, but the first trailer they showed was a little bit of scenery and then a dude standing by his car.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that. But this one, there's actually some story to it.
Mm-hmm.
You get hints of maybe some unusual game elements, like the fact that you have swords in your arms and stuff like that.
Yeah, they talk about everyone's into body modifications. So everyone's a cyborg of some sort.
It's very, what's the word?
Cyberpunk?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. It reminded me of what's that show that we watched last year with the chips in people's necks? Futuristic. The guy who plays RoboCop is in it.
Oh, I didn't watch it.
Oh, you didn't?
The Altered Carbon, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. You didn't watch it? What?
I got two words for you, Victor. Joel Kinnaman.
Oh, come on. Yeah.
I'm sure he's a really nice guy, but if he's in it, it's crap. I'm sorry.
Hey, that's not always. Okay, well, he has Altered Carbon under his belt.
I'm sure this show is fine. But anyway.
That's what it reminds me of.
You remind you of that?
That and...
Johnny Mnemonic?
Oh, yeah, kind of. A little bit.
Yeah.
I remember that. Deus Ex.
Oh, yeah.
That game?
Deus Ex Machina?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
That and Altered Carbon. That's what it reminded me of. Looks really good.
What is the D&D clone? Shadowrun?
Yeah. Actually, Shadowrun's, that's probably the closest thing to it in terms of style and, I guess, setting.
Yeah, it looks interesting. I need to see a bit more of it because I don't really have time for games anymore. So it has to be really good if I'm going to spend some time and money on it. But Keanu Reeves is in it. Yeah,
Keanu Reeves. So hot right now.
He really is. It kind of just happened out of nowhere this week where he was everywhere on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
There's memes about him. There's like the feel good memes as well. Not just oh, look at him eating a sandwich all lonely. But it's there was ones where it's just his dad left him when he was 3. He watched his friend overdose and die when he was 23. He donates half of his money to charity. And it's just what a great guy. We should all be like Keanu. And it's just there's no joke in that at all. They're sincerely Keanu's awesome.
Yeah, there's even my YouTube feed. It's a lot of videos just of Keanu and but they're 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old. There's that video clip of Keanu Reeves giving up his seat on the subway to some lady.
Yeah.
I've seen this.
He's just become a worldwide trending topic overnight. Is it because Always Be My Maybe?
I think that, and then he did an interview where he basically played with puppies the entire time he was answering questions.
Oh yeah, that sounds like a Jimmy Fallon type interview?
I don't think it was.
Oh, really?
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
But yeah, they just had him in a room with like a big white backdrop and they just poured a bunch of peppers onto him. And I think from that, people were like, oh, Keanu Reeves is awesome.
But
and
we
then,
knew this.
Oh, yeah, we knew.
We knew this. Like, I've been into Keanu Reeves since like Bill and Ted and Parenthood since the early 90s.
Did you see that video clip of like before Bill and Ted, before Neo, he was on like some TV show and I think he used to do like interviews with people and stuff?
Oh yeah, that was like, it wasn't Popular Mechanics for Kids, but it was something like that.
Yeah. It's so funny because he doesn't act that differently.
No.
And he does now. It's just like an older version of that kid. It's kind of cute.
Good for him.
Yeah, good for him.
He's kind of having a year, like John Wick 3, Cyberpunk, Always Be My Maybe. Oh, he's in Toy Story 4 as well.
What?
He plays like an Evil Knievel type toy.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. It's good for him. I'm glad that new people are discovering him, I guess. It reminds me of, do you remember a few years back, Kanye West collaborated with Paul McCartney?
Vaguely.
And there was this whole thing on Twitter where there was all these young people who had no idea who Paul McCartney was. And they're just like, it's so great that Kanye is helping up and coming artists. Yeah, my first reaction to all this Keanu love was just like, isn't he always been awesome? Like, why is this a new thing? But
I guess it's just the first time he's been in like a very, I guess, big name movie that's in this era of like social media. Because like The Matrix, yeah, big movie, but like we didn't have this level of internet to really like broadcast.
I think it's just that a new generation has found him.
Or that too, yeah. Did you see any videos about his motorcycle company?
No.
Oh, his motorcycles are so cool looking.
Yeah, apparently he's a gearhead when it comes to cycles. What they call them for short?
Cycles, yeah. I think cycles.
They call them cycles.
Well, it's two wheels, so you can call it bicycles.
It's like, yeah, I was riding on my cycle the other night. Yeah, that was the end of that bit.
But anyways.
Yeah. Anyway, E3.
Yeah. Did you see the Avengers game?
I did.
Did you see that cinematic trailer?
I won't go as far as saying it's disappointing, but it was definitely not what was expected.
Yeah. The costumes look really cheese.
Well, it's just like
why is Captain America a SWAT team guy with blue armor?
It's like it's trying to be the MCU, but it's like they stop short. I don't know. It's just the Avengers that they chose to start it off with. Mm-hmm. It's the same Avengers from the first one, except for Hawkeye, because apparently screw that guy.
What? No Hawkeye?
Right? And they all just kind of look like the off-brand version of their MCU counterparts.
A little bit.
You know what I mean? Like, because even like Bruce Banner, he's wearing the purple shirt that
you saw
that Mark Ruffalo wore.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Their designs are, it just looks like a game from like 2013. Their hair looks like it's like they're trying to make it look more realistic, but it clearly doesn't look realistic.
Mm-hmm. And some of the voice act, like Thor, kind of drove me nuts. I hate that. Maybe we're just spoiled with the MCU, that they have made these characters so rich and have like so much depth and stuff. But like, I hate it when voice actors are like, I'm playing a superhero and this is my voice. I am the god of thunder and watch out. I'm going to kill you with my hammer.
Oh, if like overacting?
Well, just like that superhero voice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can just be like I'm Thor, the god of thunder or whatever. He could be from down under. But you know what I mean? Just play him as a person. He doesn't have to have that overacting voice, but
that's always bothered me, especially with Thor. Yeah, it's just a weird trailer because like the designs are weird. Thor's costume is overly designed to the point where it looks stupid.
Yeah, it's like it's noisy.
Yeah,
almost. Yeah, it's fine. It's just that this game has been in development. I think they announced it right around when the first Avengers movie came out, which was 2012.
Yeah.
So it's been around for a while. Like I just think more people were just expecting more.
Yeah.
I do like the idea that they're talking about as far as the they're going to be constantly adding more Avengers for you to play.
Mm-hmm. Apparently it's supposed to be free.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that doesn't mean like, oh, let's give them these like terrible costumes and then charge for like
if you want the comic accurate or even a cool looking one.
Yeah, because literally all of them could use it. Maybe Black Widow. Hers looked fine, but how do you screw up her costume?
I like the Hulk's costume. Actually, I liked Hank Pym. There's a separate video that had Hank Pym. He had at least an homage to like when Hank Pym was just Dr. Pym. I think when he was on West Coast Avengers, but yeah, I need to see gameplay.
Yeah. We're still not actually, I don't think we have any confirmation of what the game is supposed to be other than the fact that it's like a single player and it has multiplayer options.
Is it connected to the Insomniac Spider-Man game?
It's rumored to be.
Okay.
I don't know how it can be because like, see how awesome Spider-Man looks?
Yeah.
And then you see Cap running around in SWAT team armor.
It does kind of fit their universe.
Does it though?
Kind of. Like think about what all the Sinister Six looked like. Like they didn't have SWAT armor, but it was just like leather jackets with emblems on them and stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever. There's another game.
Were you ever a fan of Destroy All Humans?
Oh yeah, I remember that game. Yeah.
Apparently it's being remade.
Oh yeah?
And not remastered, but I think it's legit being remade. Like redone.
Like from the ground up? Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. I'm very excited for that game.
Those games were always funny.
Yeah. It was like one of the first games I actually like remember going through and beating, like and getting everything.
Wow. Anyway, are you following the Final Fantasy VII remake at all?
Yes, I am actually.
You excited about it?
Very excited. You know what? Like a lot of people kind of like my age that grew up with that game. Ever since they did the PS2, we've been looking forward, or I've been looking forward to like a remake of that game. So what? 2002?
I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't know. Whenever Final Fantasy 12 came out, people have been asking for it, and so like we finally get it. And some people are like kind of iffy on it because it's very different. It's not just like a direct remake of the previous game.
Yeah, it's not just a reskin or whatever.
Yeah, so the previous game was like a turn-based RPG, like a typical classical Japanese RPG, and now they've added in a lot of like Kingdom Hearts mixed with I guess time-based attacks. It's kind of because you have access to like the whole battle map. You can run around, do like a basic attack, but then you have access to like almost like a tactical view where the game slows down and you can select commands for your character. Yeah,
right. You build up your limit break or whatever by attacking freely or something. I don't know. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Did you ever play Final Fantasy VII?
I never got through it. I think I would always get to I would get the entire party.
Yeah.
And then I would just kind of not lose interest, but yeah, it would just peter out and you'd be like, I don't. Anyway, no, I never beat it. I watched my brothers beat it.
Okay, so you do know the
Yeah, I know about like Weapon and Sephiroth and what was his mom's name? Josephat?
Genova?
Genova. It looks like it's actually coming out soon. Is it next year?
Next year, May. Yeah. Did you hear about the format for it though?
No.
It's supposed to be released. It's like episodic release. So the first episode is only up to the whole Midgar section.
So you get Red 13, then you're done?
I think so. So I don't know how I feel about that.
That's the section that I've played the most.
It's basically
the amount of times I've started the game and be like, yeah. That would help me beat the game though.
Yeah. Because like you get through a part of it and it's like, okay, I need a break.
Yeah. And then, it comes out again 6 months later and you're like, oh, okay, I can get back into this. I can understand because we're in a binge culture. People want to get through it as fast as possible. And
no, people just want to buy a game once and be able to play the whole game.
Oh, is it like you have to pay for each episode?
I think so.
Well, that's stupid. Telltale did that. And you know what happened to them? They went out of business. That's not the reason though, but yeah. So whatever. Is there any other things that you saw at E3 that you're excited about?
Well, Doom Eternal, but yeah, nothing crazy about that.
Okay. Shall we move on?
Yeah. What you got over there?
Well, hold on. I'm getting a call. Hello? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll tell him. Victor, there's Dune news.
Come on. Oh. All right.
Victor, there's going to be a Dune show that comes out with the movie. Denis Villeneuve is going to direct the first episode. It's called Dune: The Sisterhood, and it's about the Bene Gesserit.
What?
So the Bene Gesserit are like, they're like a group of nuns basically, but they like they go around to planet and like create a messiah.
Oh, okay, yeah, that would have been my first guess.
Yeah,
it's clearly you can clearly
from the name, right?
From the name, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so it's kind of a cool idea, but anyway, Dune.
Oh. When's the movie coming out?
Next November.
Oh, I'm gonna be hearing about this so much.
Yeah, just wait till the trailer comes out, Victor. Oh, it's exciting. They're filming right now.
You said next November, right? So not this year. 2020.
No, 2020.
Oh boy.
I'm excited. It's gonna be great. Probably. It's gonna be like Blade Runner 2049, where it'll be a really good movie, but only like film nerds like it.
Wait, did no one like 2049? Or very few people like 2049?
Well, just no one went to see it.
Idiots.
So like the only people who saw it were like, "Are you kidding me? Look how great this is!" And everyone's just like, "Yeah, but is there an Avenger in it?"
Yeah, is there an Avenger? Did you see was it a tweet that Justin Bieber made?
I did. That's actually my next. No, tell us about it, Victor.
So Justin Bieber made a tweet challenging Tom Cruise to a fight.
Yeah,
a caged fight
in the octagon.
Yeah, I'm very curious of what led him to that decision, because it came out of nowhere. I don't think I've ever seen those two names ever put together.
To my knowledge, there's no beef between the two of them. So it's like it's not even just like, oh, wouldn't it be great to fight Tom Cruise in the octagon? It's like he challenges him and calls him a coward if he does not take the fight.
Who do you think would win? Let's say Tom Cruise took the challenge.
Tom Cruise wrestled in high school.
Yeah, but that's like, what, 40 years ago?
He's still in impeccable shape. He has that young rat's blood coursing through his veins.
What? But like 40 years, that's a lot. Like, unless he's done that recently, I feel like you would lose like the muscle memory.
It's also Justin Bieber, who is like, I mean, I'm sure he works out, but the guy is like rail thin, and to my knowledge has no fighting experience. Now, Tom Cruise does a lot of stunts and stuff, and maybe it's stage fighting, but it's still fighting.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I feel like you have to learn how to punch before you can learn how to like punch and not hit them. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh man, I know it's never going to happen, but like I would 100% pay for that. I'd be excited to see that.
I just don't.
What do you think the thought process behind that tweet?
I don't think there was a thought process, and I don't know.
Yo, it's so stupid. There has to be a thought process.
I hopefully like he was drunk or high or something like that.
Oh, I'm hoping he was 100% sober for that.
Because otherwise, like, I hope it's not a mental deficiency. That's all I mean.
Of course
like,
it is.
Yeah. Okay. I don't want to make fun of him for that. Anyway, Mindy Kaling from The Office played Kelly Kapoor.
Okay.
So she's been going around. She just wrote a movie that she stars in with Emma Thompson. Anyway, someone asked her. They were like, "Hey, you're Indian. What do you think of Miss Marvel?" And she said that she had talked with Marvel about writing a Miss Marvel movie at one point.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So that got me excited because it's like, oh, it means they're actually pursuing this in some form.
Has she written anything before?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. She's more, I would say she's more of a writer than an actress. Like, because she wrote on The Office.
Oh, she did?
Yeah. And
cool.
she wrote this movie. She wrote the Mindy Project, which was her show.
Oh, cool. Because I've heard good things about that.
And she's written a few books, I think, at least one.
Interesting.
She's a very, very talented writer. She's very funny.
Like, I've never seen any of those things, but I've seen The Office. But like the fact that she's written on the Mindy Project,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that I know that people love that show, that's a good tell.
Yeah.
All right. I'm a little more excited about that now.
Yeah. She would be a good fit for writing that.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. Her sense of humor is kind of perfect for Miss Marvel's sense of humor.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd be good.
I dig it.
Anyway, Fast and Furious 9, Victor.
What?
Fast and Furious 9.
Yeah.
They've cast John Cena.
Wait. Hobbs and Shaw not considered 9?
No, it's a spinoff.
Oh.
It started its own franchise. So John Cena is going to be in it. The Rock possibly not returning.
What?
And Justin Lin is returning directing. He directed Fast 5.
Was that a good one?
I think, was that the one with the vault?
I thought that was 6.
I don't know. They all bleed together to me. Anyway,
Okay.
a lot of people considered that one like the reinvention of the franchise. So
The turning point?
yeah.
Of, too ridiculous?
Yeah. So sure.
Wait, so is Vin Diesel still gonna be in it?
Oh yeah.
Of course he is.
Yeah. And Tyrese
Yeah.
and Ludacris, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, John Cena's in it. Do I like John Cena way more than you do? I feel like you're not excited about this.
I am excited. I just can't really vocalize it.
Right.
Without.
Because you're fluish.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought you said. I don't know why I was like, is he making? I don't know.
What?
But yeah, John Cena. That's kind of cool. The news kind of came out of nowhere.
Was that an invisible joke, Victor? Because you can't see him?
Maybe.
Okay.
Nice. Is that the John Cena out of nowhere, that meme? I ruined it.
Oh, I ruined it by not getting it.
Yeah, you ruined it.
I'll just cut it out. This is what's going to happen. All right. When I edit this, it's just to end at you saying he came out of nowhere. And then I'll laugh later on. And that's where I'll hook it up to. Like right now. And now it looks like you're funny.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm pumped. It sounds ridiculous. I love they replaced The Rock with another huge, like, muscular dude.
And not for nothing, John Cena's a good actor.
He's hilarious.
Yeah. Have you seen Blockers?
No, I haven't seen that.
He's hilarious in that movie. John Cena. Well, Victor, I think we should address the elephant in the room. First off, how did it get in here?
Yeah, the doorways aren't even normal sized doorways.
No, we said we were going to watch Men in Black International this week, but he got a little bit sick this week.
A little bit. I didn't have my voice the other night. A day and a half ago. Yeah.
I don't know. We were trying to figure out because we really didn't want to miss an episode because we're dedicated to our half a dozen fans who occasionally listen.
It's over half a dozen right now.
Yeah, probably. I don't know what it is, but yeah, we didn't want to miss an episode. So I was like thinking about like, okay, what could we do instead? Maybe Victor doesn't have a voice. Like I can just do an episode by myself. And my wife heard me and she's just like, Josh, no one wants that. She's like, I married you and I wouldn't listen to that.
What?
Our marriage is falling apart.
Seems.
What was I saying? Oh yeah. So what we did end up deciding to do is
staying together.
I went to go see Dark Phoenix alone.
Yeah,
and I'm going to tell Victor about it.
I absolutely refused to like watch that, but I'm 100% excited to hear what you thought about it.
First off, I was ecstatic because my dream almost happened. I got into the theater and I was the only one there.
Wait, you've never been in a theater by yourself?
No.
Is that the dream?
That's the dream. You go to a movie theater
really?
And there's no one else there. I got there 4 minutes before the movie started, but 3 more people came in.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. But I mean, I was by myself. So what am I going to say? Sarcastic comments to nothing. So like, that's the whole dream of being in an empty movie theater is that you can talk freely.
Mm-hmm.
But
It's funny. My friend and I, we went to the theaters for the Dictator.
Mm-hmm.
We were the only 2 people there. And we were like cackling. We were laughing more obnoxiously than usual just because we could.
Well, anyway, yeah. So this is Dark Phoenix. This is more than likely the last X-Men movie outside of the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
New Mutants is still hanging around, but who's to say what's going to happen with that? But
direct to DVD, baby.
Yeah, this is I've seen every X-Men movie in theaters except for the first one since I was a kid. So like this is the end of an era for me. I remember X2 was the first X-Men movie I watched like without a parent.
Mm-hmm. Oh, look at you growing up.
Yeah. I actually remember the day that it came out. It was like May, but it was still freezing cold for whatever reason. I remember wearing a winter coat to go see it. And I remember I was legitimately sick that day. Like I stayed home from school, but I went in the afternoon, even though I was sick, because I knew if I stayed home from school, like my parents wouldn't let me go to see X-Men. And I was so excited that I like pretended to feel better to go see it. And luckily it was X2. It wasn't like a disappointment. Like it wasn't like X-Men Origins or something, but.
Wait, X2. What happens in X2?
Well, that's the one with Nightcrawler in it.
I didn't like that one.
What? That's arguably the best one.
Yeah.
And you didn't like it?
Set pretty low.
Because you're dead inside. No, that one was great. That was the one with Alkali Lake and Stryker.
Yeah. That's one where they attack the Academy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, not my thing.
Wow. We're going to have to discuss this more in depth at another time. But so I got some notes here, Victor. We're going to talk about Dark Phoenix, Victor. So I went and saw it by myself today.
Thank you.
Because Victor was very, very sick.
Oh, I probably wouldn't have gone even when I was feeling perfectly fine.
So, Victor, this movie opens up in 1975.
Perfect.
Jean Grey's sitting in the back of a car with her parents.
Makes sense.
And she's like, "Can we change the radio station? I hate this song." And her mom's like, "No, we're not going to." And then it just changes automatically. She's like, "What? Did you do that?" Jean's like, "Oh, all these voices. I can't control them." And then she just goes, "Quiet." And then she causes a car accident that kills her parents.
Wow, what a bitch.
Yeah, so basically it was just a flashback showing Jean's start. And then it cuts to the hospital and Charles Xavier rolls in. He's got this nice mullet because it's it's the late 70s. And he comes in. It's actually like a really kind of sweet scene between him and young Jean Grey where he tells her that her parents are dead. She says, like, you're not like the other social workers or whatever. And he's like, that's because I'm not like the other social workers. And he has this cool thing that he does where he's trying to talk to her about her gift of telepathy and telekinesis.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, here, take this pen, for example. And he goes, actually, you know what? Take the pen. And he hands it to her. And he said, so I've just given you a gift and you can do whatever you want with it. You can write nice letters to people. If you could stab someone in the eye with it if you wanted to. He said, but it's your gift and it's up to you to decide what you do with it. Mm-hmm. It's like, just like your other gift. That's actually like not brilliant, but like it's a great piece of writing where it's just like, I really like that. It kind of like they establish a rapport and then she decides to go and live with him in his mansion.
Yeah, that's
she goes to his school.
No, but that's 100% very like, yep. That's a little weird.
Yeah. Then it cuts to 1992. And now this whole movie takes place in 1992 in subtitle only. Does not seem like it's the 90s whatsoever. There's stuff in it like Cerebro looks more advanced than it does in the first X-Men movie, which takes place 7 years after this. Okay, like in the first movie, the Cerebro, it has wires connecting it to the rest of the machine, like the helmet has wires.
It doesn't actually need wires. It's just there so no one takes it.
Had a problem with kids sneaking in, just taking
the pens
it.
at like the banks at the chain to it. That's exactly what it's there for.
Oh, okay, that explains it then. Because this one was wireless, and I was like, "This is 1992." What was the? The Blackbird can go to space in this one, and in fact, they do go to space immediately in this movie. Just like the Adam West Batman show, the president has a phone line directly connected to Charles Xavier's office. Like there's literally a phone on the president's desk with a big X on it.
No, really?
And then so what happens is there is a spaceship
That's so cheesy.
that something happened on the spaceship up in space. And then so they're like, we should call the X-Men. And Mystique is there.
Of course.
Because she's been a big part of this franchise since the reboot. And when I say Mystique is there, I just mean she's there. She's saying lines and stuff, but like it is so clear that Jennifer Lawrence is done. Like she just doesn't want to be a part of this franchise anymore. And it shows. Like just her acting it's just very flat. And it's not great. It's adequate, but it's like like before the scene, the director was just like, okay, and 3, 2, 1, action. And then Jen just goes, did my check clear? Yeah? Okay. Charles, you're a bad guy. Don't do it. Like it's just it's so flat.
You can kind of tell from the trailers too. Like
yeah. She was not under contract to return to this one. It wasn't like they forced her. So she must have got a sweet fat deal to return. And spoiler alert, she doesn't last long in it either.
You mean that part in the trailer they spoiled?
Yeah.
Was right at the beginning of the movie?
Yeah. It's right at the beginning. But anyway, sorry, getting back to it. So there's a spaceship. And so the entire X-Men team goes up. Mystique is all like, I don't know if this is a good idea. And Xavier's like, just go.
Just send a bunch of kids into space.
Well, they're not kids because it's the 90s. So now they're all in their late 20s.
Oh, late 20s?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Except for they all still look like they're teenagers.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. The continuity in this movie, that's what ticks me off. Magneto is in this movie. He looks exactly like he does in First Class. Like it's been 30 years in the continuity of these movies since that movie. He looks exactly the same. 7 years from now, he's supposed to look like Ian McKellen.
Maybe that does happen.
I'm just saying, like he doesn't even have a single gray hair.
Oh, it just all blooms at once.
Yeah, that's how it happens, right? It's just overnight. It's just shock of light.
Well, it's like a hair a day, right?
Anyway, so that kind of stuff ticks me off, but I realize it's nitpicky and kind of geeky, but
it doesn't help set the timeline.
No,
yeah,
it doesn't. And so anyway, Jean, right before they take off, she has this nice little moment, and by nice I mean she has a moment with Mystique where she goes like, "Hey, everything's gonna be okay, right?" And she's like, "Yeah, everything will be okay."
Oh, that's Mystique.
Yeah, that's Mystique. And they go up in space and they rescue the astronauts, and they use everybody on the team except for Jean until it's like an emergency. And it's just like, why even bring her? Basically, it's kind of hard to explain, but there's a situation. They save all the astronauts, and it's like, hey, we saved them all. Let's go home. And they're like, well, wait, where's our captain? And he's like, oh, he was in the loading dock when this thing went off. He's probably still there. Jean, we'll send you in and you can hold the ship together. And Mystique, who's the team leader, I guess, is like, no, that's not cool. Like, we won't do that. She could die. And they're like, we'll do it anyway. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that like Jean wasn't going to be used at all. So why did she even come?
I guess just to have the roster there just in case, because she does have a pretty unique ability compared to everyone else.
I guess so, but I was just like, whatever. Anyway, so they save the captain, but the solar flare that damaged the space shuttle in the first place, it flies into Jean, and she becomes
the
Phoenix. Yeah, it's weird. They have a hero's welcome, and the X-Men come back, and they're like greeted as heroes, like people are clapping and stuff.
Okay.
A lot of blue people on the X-Men.
Mystique, Nightcrawler,
Beast.
Oh yeah, shit, Beast.
Yeah, so there's 3 of like, there's 7 of them. And then so it's like 3 white people, 3 blue people, and then Storm. So that's weird. But anyway, what happens is everyone's like, oh, so Jean's fine.
Yeah, she just took off.
She just took it. Like that's the thing. They're like, she shouldn't be fine, but she's fine. That's weird. And then so they go to a party and Jean freaks out and attacks everybody.
Yeah, she's fine.
Yeah, she's fine. Yeah, this movie's hard to explain. I'm not good at this. I'm sorry.
No, I don't know.
Is it okay? Is it entertaining to you?
I'm entertained. I'm curious.
Dazzler cameo at the party.
Really?
Yeah. So there's a girl singing and she's got like the full, again, it's the 90s in name only. She's wearing the full disco
Yeah.
outfit and she's got like the face paint and stuff and she's like doing fireworks as she's singing at the party.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was a nice moment, but
Really
yeah,
taking advantage of that X-Men roster, eh?
yeah, we'll get to that when we get to Magneto's henchman. But so she gets overwhelmed and she like does like a get away from me and like does like a telekinetic blast. Total party foul. Just ruins the whole party.
Spills all the drinks.
Spills all the drinks. Everyone.
Pulls all the food up onto the walls. Just ruined it.
But anyway, she knocks herself unconscious. And so Xavier jumps into her mind. And he's like, hey, what's going on here? And he's like, I put some walls up when you were a little kid. This thing is starting to tear them down. That's not good. And then Mystique's like, wait, you put walls in her head? He's like, yeah, but it was because
you suck. It's because you suck. You can handle it.
is because like it was for her own good, okay? And Mystique's like, that's really not cool. Maybe you shouldn't do that. And then Jean wakes up and she's like, yeah, that's not cool. I'm leaving. And but it's also because she found out in this dream state that her dad is still alive, and Xavier lied about that and blocked that from her memory. So he didn't die in the car accident.
That's really uncool.
Yeah. So she goes to her dad's place and she meets them, and so she finds out the reason why Charles lied about it and blocked it is because her dad woke up from the car accident and was like, I want nothing to do with her. I don't want to raise her. She's a freak. Oh. She did this. She killed my wife.
That's dark.
Yeah. And so Jean figures this out and she's like, well, that's disappointing. And so she goes outside and the X-Men have shown up and they're trying to calm her down and they're talking her down, but nothing has happened so far.
So they're basically showing up to potentially a disaster.
Yeah. And that's the other thing too, is the police show up and I'm just like, what has happened that the police needed to be called? Like all she did was go to her dad's house. She didn't even attack him. Like there was nothing like on the outside looking in to be like, she looks dangerous. Let's call the cops. Or like, it's like she literally went to her dad's house, knocked on the door. He let her in and they had a conversation. And so it's like, why are the police showing up? I understand the X-Men like going after her because she just kind of took off. But like they show up in full battle gear and they're like, Jean, we need to talk you down. And it's like, what? Like, because she had a little freak out at a party, but like, it wasn't like she lashed out in anger and like hurt people or anything like that. It was just, she just had like she's having a reaction to the solar flare or whatever. So it's just like, well, why? Anyway, that bothered me a little bit. I think the police being there freaks her out and the Phoenix takes over and she starts going a little nuts. And so they're attacking.
So when the Phoenix takes over, is that still her? Or is that like, does she not remember who is like a second personality that takes over?
See, that's the thing. That in itself is like the main problem with this is that we don't know the Jean Grey character very well. And so when it flips between the two of them, it's just like, is she has just gone evil or like, is it like there's a different personality or like you don't really know. There's not enough of a contrast between the two of them.
Right.
Because in the comics, I always read Jean as kind of like more bubbly and kind of like a fun-loving girl, and that's what made the contrast of her turning into the Dark Phoenix so good.
Right.
Was that it was like the sweet girl next door has turned into this malevolent, evil being, and even like when Famke Jameson or whatever her name is in the original X-Men, she was always more subdued, a little bit more stoic.
She was like a motherly figure almost.
Yeah, and like she was flirty with Logan, but she was very straight compared to. She wasn't jokey or anything like that. Yeah. Like she didn't have that like fun personality that I always read Jean as having. But that's besides the point. This one, yeah, there's not enough established. I don't remember a lot of her from the last movie, so it doesn't translate well. Like when she's flipping between like the Phoenix taking over and stuff, but. Sophie Turner does her best, but it doesn't. So
it's not the actress.
It's not really night and day of like a crazy person. You know what I mean? Like it's not clear that it's not a perfect representation of a mental breakdown.
It's not like Split.
No, it's not. It's not like that, or I don't know, like Gollum and Smeagol or something like that. Or
That's a good comparison actually, because you can clearly tell they're different people,
yeah,
but like the same person.
yeah. So anyway, she freaks out. She attacks the X-Men, hurts Quicksilver, like he's out of the running, out of the running for
Nice.
the rest of the movie because
How convenient.
he's way too powerful, right? Yeah, and she accidentally kills Mystique.
How's she dying again?
So what happens is she's trying to calm her down, and she's giving her a speech about family and how family looks after each other and stuff. And as she's getting closer, they do a cool trick with the editing where the editing kind of gets a little bit more frantic and it becomes like a lot more close-ups of her face, and you can kind of see her like trying to like process it, but like she's kind of freaking out at the same time. And then Mystique keeps getting closer and closer.
Mm-hmm.
And finally she makes contact and touches her arm, and then like that makes her does like a telekinetic blast.
Yeah.
And then when she like realizes what happened, she looks and she's impaled Mystique on debris from a house. Yeah. So she takes off because she killed Mystique, and everyone's real sad about that.
I mean, she comes back in like 4 years, right?
Yeah. Apparently. Jean Grey goes to Genosha, because you have to have Magneto in this movie.
Yeah.
It's X-Men. I knew he was in it, but like I was really hoping that he would just not be in it. Like you don't need Magneto in every movie.
Do you find he's almost in it too much? Like him and Charles Xavier, they're like the main focus now, kind of like how Wolverine was in the first trilogy.
Yeah, a little bit. Magneto more like this movie. It had really good Xavier story. That was my favorite part of it. Was just like the father figure that you find out is not infallible. I really enjoyed that, and his relationship with Jean. Didn't like Jean so much, but McAvoy was great in this. So she goes to Genosha and she's got blood from Mystique all over her. And Magneto's just like, whose blood is that? And she's like, don't want to talk about it. He's like, okay.
It's not weird at all.
And then the military show up to arrest Jean. And he's like, hey, man, this is a sovereign nation. You can't just come in here. Mm-hmm. And then Jean's like, it's okay. I'll kill them. And so she like attacks them and Magneto fights her off.
Yeah.
And then he's like, you need to leave. You can't be here. And she's like, fine. I didn't want to be here anyway. And she just takes off.
The exact delivery. Teenage, like pissed off.
She's supposed to be like 28 or something. So wait, she leaves.
Genosha? Is it like the comics where it's like there's just a bunch of other mutants living there and stuff? Or is it?
Yeah, it's kind of like I don't know. It's kind of like a very very like put together town. Like it looks like it's made out of like truck containers and stuff like that.
Like a shanty town.
Yeah, shanty town. That's the word I was looking for. So it was kind of cool set design.
Not very utopian.
No, it's very much the start of it. Like there was probably like 60 people living there.
Oh, okay,
and it was just an island off the coast of the States, I guess, because they at one point Magneto says this land was granted to us by the U.S. government, so it's like, so I guess the U.S. gave it to them.
They just stole some like island off of like
Iceland. Yeah,
Iceland.
Xavier drinks a lot in this movie. There's more than one scene where he like starts off the scene, and as he's talking, he goes and wheels over to like a small bar, like just a collection of bottles, and pours himself a drink while he's talking to someone. And this is a weird scene because you've probably seen it in the trailers. It's him and Hank, it's a Beast, talking about Mystique.
The funeral?
It's after the funeral, and it's just a quick shot in the trailer, but it's like Hank like slamming the glass out of his hand and like it's shattering over the table. Mm-hmm. Maybe you remember, maybe you don't. That. Anyway, so Xavier just comes in, and Beast has just been sitting in the dark staring at a glass of water, just mourning Mystique. Because they were like full on dating.
Yeah.
They were making the Beast with two backs. And so Xavier just rolls in to have a conversation with him. And there's just like a little bar set up on the counter. And he just rolls up, pours himself a drink, and comes over to talk to Hank. And it's just like, this is a school. There are children, and you just have a bar sitting out on the counter in the kitchen. Not even like hidden away in a cupboard. It's just on the counter for them to see. with a glass ready for you.
I mean, before you go to class, right? You just finish a drink.
Totally took me out of the scene. So he and Hank have a heart to heart, and Hank tells him that he was wrong to do what he did to Jean, and Xavier doesn't see it.
It's not like she's gonna turn to a giant like civilization murdering creature.
Yeah. And then anyway, after Hank leaves the X-Men, this is when the movie started to get crappy. Before then, it was actually kind of interesting. Like I've been kind of making fun of it, but like it was actually, I wouldn't say it was like spectacular or anything, but it was like, I was like, okay, I'm behind what you're doing here. Like there's things here and there that I don't like, but like this is actually kind of a good movie. And but then this is when it starts to kind of get. So there's this alien race led by Jessica Chastain.
Is she an alien?
She's an alien. They're actually called, what is it? I got it written down here. The Not Skrulls. No, they're called the Dabari, I guess. But apparently they were supposed to be the Skrulls at one point.
Do they shapeshift?
They shapeshift, yeah.
Oh.
And they come down and basically they want the Phoenix Force because it destroyed their planet.
Okay.
And it's so Volk is the name, or Vuk, sorry. Vuk is the name of Jessica Chastain's character, and she meets up with Jean, and she explains to her, and I quote from Wikipedia, that she has been possessed by a force of cosmic power which wiped out the Dabari's home planet years ago. The power had consumed all those it came across until it encountered Jean. So there you go. The whole alien race thing
seems unnecessary.
It is unnecessary. You could cut it out. I mean, they need someone to punch at the end, but you don't need someone to punch at the end. That's the whole thing. Like this, I think this movie would be better served like where they didn't have a big climactic action scene at the end. Like it should be like the emotional climax should be the climax of the movie. Anyway, and so like Beast shows up at Genosa and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna kill Mystique. I'm gonna kill Jean. Do you want to come with me?" He's like, "Why would I want to kill Jean?" He's like, "Oh, you don't know? She killed Mystique." He's like, "That's what the blood was on her clothes." And you're like, "Yeah, I'm all for that. She was right here." Oh man. Yeah. And so they go off to kill.
Really? That's all he needed to be
Well,
convinced?
he had a relationship with Mystique at one point. One of some of the other movies, I guess.
Yeah, I guess, but yeah.
Anyway. So they all arrive at this hotel where Vuk has such a dumb name. I'm sorry. Vuk has taken Jean to tell her about the Phoenix Force, and they all show up, and there's a fight scene, and I could really tell that the director was a first-time director.
Wait, he was a first-time director?
Yes.
What the hell was he doing with this movie?
Well, he's been a producer on all the X-Men movies, and he's written a lot of them.
Okay.
And so he wrote and directed this one. And you could just kind of tell, like, that there were certain things that you're just like, was that really the best take? Or like, maybe you could have pushed the actors a little bit more, like to find the emotion of the scene or, you know, but this fight scene was so incomprehensible. Like, so basically they start off in Central Park and they're on the edge of it and they run off to get to the hotel and it's just one street. It's like, I think it's like a 2-lane street that they run across. And immediately it causes a traffic jam and there's all these cars everywhere and people are fighting on top of cars and it's just crowded and you don't know where people are. Like you just lose it. Like it's just chaos and it's just a mess of a scene.
Is this Magneto and Beast's team? Do they have it or is it just those two?
It's Magneto and Beast, and then there's this chick who is telepathic, I think. And then there's this really cool henchman who has braids that he uses as whips. I mean,
does he like headbang to use them or
he like flips them? Like he can control them with his arms and stuff. Like it's the dumbest superpower I've ever seen, and I really don't understand why they didn't just use a known character in that.
Even Toad.
Well, yeah, just choose a character who has a cool looking superpower and then use that guy. He doesn't have to have any lines or anything like that. Anyway.
I'm guessing they're fighting against the aliens?
No, they're fighting against each other. So those four show up to go kill Mystique or to kill Jean, because she killed Mystique.
Yeah.
And then Xavier shows up with Nightcrawler, Storm, and Cyclops.
Oh, that team's so much cooler.
Yeah. And then so they fight each other, I guess, and over cars, and like you can't tell what's going on. Magneto eventually goes in. He's like, I'm here to kill you, Jean. And she's like, not today, and pushes him through a wall. And then Xavier shows up. She's like, oh, you're here to kill me too? He's like, no, I would never. He actually says it like that.
Oh no.
But he tries to talk her down again, and then he manages to do it, but not before she's up on a balcony, and there's stairways leading up to the balcony on either side.
Makes sense.
And he said something to her earlier when she was a little girl. He said, "You can do anything you can put your mind to."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, really? Why don't you walk to me?" And he's like, "Come on, you know I can't." And she's like, "Oh, really?" And she makes him walk up the stairs to her.
Yeah.
McAvoy does a great job of like his legs are limp still. So like he does this great like kind of ragdoll walk.
Puppeteer kind of thing.
Sort of. Yeah. I think it's unintentionally funny in a very serious scene. But he gets up there and they talk, and he talks her down. He invites her into his mind. And so he shows her like the true thing. It wasn't that he lied. Like he did lie, but it was like they shows the full conversation between him and her dad, and like how the dad was like, she's a monster. I want nothing to do with her.
Yeah.
And so Xavier's like, I'm sorry, sir, but you're wrong. And she's like, there's no hope for her. And he's like, there's always hope for her if someone cares for her. And so it's kind of like a nice scene. And she kind of goes like, oh, you do care. And then so she calms down, and then Vuk is like, so you don't want the Phoenix Force then? And she's like, no, I never wanted it. And she's like, I'll take it from you. Oh, that was an option? All right, then let's do that. And so they start transferring it over to her, and Vuk's like, I'm gonna destroy the whole world now.
And announces that as she's getting
She
it.
does.
What?
And so they haven't transferred it yet. And Xavier's like, Jean, she's going to destroy the whole world. Don't give it to her. And she's like, oh, yeah, okay. Sorry. Didn't mean to. And then by that point, the police have shown up, and they zap everybody with tasers. And then they all wake up on a train, and they're being transferred to the prison that Deadpool went to, I guess.
It's just
they all have the collar around their necks too. Like their powers are drained. Jessica Chastain shows up with a bunch of not Skrulls, and they attack the train, and there's actually a pretty cool fight scene. They use people's powers kind of in cool ways, and Magneto is vicious. He's like picking up pieces of floor and like stabbing it into people's necks and stuff like that.
Oh, that's cool.
There's like this one point where a guy goes to grab him, and he stabs through his hand with like a metal beam, and then turns the hand, makes the guy stab himself in the neck.
It's efficient.
Storm, I don't think they understand how her powers work. I'm maybe this is just me with being geeky, but like all throughout the movie, she does different things where it's like, I don't think that's how it works, because she can control the weather.
Yeah.
Right. And I know that she can channel lightning through herself and shoot that. But there's one point where she creates ice cubes. And I was like, she's not Iceman.
Yeah. That's
like, I don't think she can create a localized storm in your cup and make ice cubes.
Yeah. She's not like micromanaging airspace.
And then that's the other thing is when they were in space, Mystique is like, Storm, I need you to keep the ship together. And it's like, how? And then she does like frost on the space shuttle. And it's like, you're in space. There's no atmosphere for her to control.
Literally, she's like the only human or mutant that shouldn't have been there.
Right?
Or Mystique too.
Yeah, and Mystique. What is she going to do?
She's going to mimic the other astronauts. Like, okay, now find this one. What's he look like? Here, he looks like me.
Or when they're like, we have to go back for our cabin. She's like, what are you talking about? I'm right here. Let's just go. Let's go. Go.
Still got a half a face of Mystique.
Where were we? Oh, yeah. So, yes, Storm, I wasn't okay with how they used her, but Nightcrawler has a cool scene. It gets nowhere close to the White House scene in X2, but he connects with one of the guards or something like that. It's like, it's the lamest connection where the guard walks by and he's like, my kid used to look up to you, because like they're criminals now, I guess. But, And then later the guard sets them all free so that they can help fight the Skrulls.
Yeah.
Excuse me, the not Skrulls.
Skrulls.
And then so Nightcrawler gets all upset when that guy eats it. And then so he goes in this like rage-filled Bamf fest.
Yeah.
And like goes around just stabbing guys in the back and stuff like that.
He just straight up kills him, eh?
Oh yeah, there's one point where he grabs a guy with his tail and breaks his neck.
That seems dark.
A little dark for the mutant who ends up becoming a priest.
Maybe that's why. Yeah, that's why it's like, oh man, I've done messed up a lot of things.
So anyway, they fight, and then the train crashes, and Jean unleashes the full Phoenix Force, and she kills them all, and then she goes up into space with Vuk and unleashes it fully on her, and it creates like a small supernova or whatever, and then Cyclops is like, Jean, no. And then they renamed the school the Jean Grey School for Gifted Youngsters. Hank takes over as the headmaster, and Xavier's like, I shouldn't be in charge of these kids anymore because I put walls on an 8-year-old.
Also, I drank too much
30 years ago. I drink way too much. But yeah, that was kind of it in a nutshell. It was. I will give it this. It is not as bad as everyone is saying it is.
Really?
This is not a fan four stick situation. It's disappointing because it is the end of an era. The first half was really interesting, and I really liked the whole Xavier thing, as I mentioned, because Xavier is like this leader, like he's Martin Luther King, right? And I like it when they're just like, yeah, but he's not all that great. And that was his big moment at the end. That's how he convinces Jean, is he admits he was wrong. And he was like, I shouldn't have done that to you when you were a girl. I should have told you the truth, which I don't know. That's true. I mean, I'm not saying you need to put up walls and never tell her the truth, but I'm just saying she just lost her mom. And I don't know. It's a sticky situation, but I maybe not say that your dad is dead, but
dead to him.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe don't wait until she's like 26 to tell her that he's still alive, but
happy 18th birthday, by the way. Your dad didn't watch
there's something I need to tell you. I don't know. It's a gray area, but
Jean Grey area.
Yeah, it's late. The space alien thing just ruins it for me. I think because basically Vuk is the devil on her shoulder. So Jean is kind of like trying to be like, I don't want this. I don't want to give into it. And she's like, what? It's so nice over here. Everything tastes like chocolate.
Imagine that's her actual argument. If you use the Phoenix Force, everything's chocolate and good.
Yeah, I think you could still do that. Like, they did it in Last Stand. They did it with Magneto, but you could even have like the Phoenix Force, like actually have a voice and be like, oh, but you should let me out. Oh, I could make everything right for you or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like you could do that, and it's a little bit more grounded, I guess. And I don't know. It's just
like less things to keep track of.
Yeah, because they did not work, the aliens. Because
it sounds like they just tossed them in there to antagonize
a little bit. And again, it's so they have someone to punch at the end of the movie.
But I agree with what you say. Like, obviously I haven't seen this movie, but like, I don't know. They do this a lot with like a lot of movies where like you could have done without this faction of characters easily, but they're in there just purely for like a punching bag. Yeah.
I wouldn't say this movie's bad. I just say it's kind of sloppy. It's just, it has potential. If there was another director, if you have been following the X-Men movies since their beginning, which is 20 years now. Wow.
Yeah. They'd be 20 years this year.
Yeah. Anyway, if you've been following the X-Men movies, actually, I don't know. I was going to say you should watch this, but maybe because they're not at all what they used to be anymore. I don't know. Oh, this is a weird review.
Where would you rank it in terms of like compared to the other movies? Like, would you rank it in the middle, lower end?
I would say it's at the top of the bad ones.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Would you put where does it stand compared to X3? Higher or lower on the list of?
I don't know. X3 kind of has a nostalgia feeling to me now. I haven't seen it in a while. Probably around the same. It's like Last Stand. I think it had the benefit of you knew these characters and you loved them. at that point.
Yeah.
And that wasn't a well-made movie, but like you knew who Jean Grey was, and like you cared that she had gone crazy.
Yeah.
And like this one, like she has this relationship with Scott, and I don't usually notice this kind of stuff, but like she didn't have like great chemistry with the actor playing Cyclops, who's supposed to be like her lover. Like they're sharing a room and stuff, and they just didn't seem like they were dating.
They were just like classmates.
Yeah, and that's supposed to be kind of like a driving force for Cyclops' character, that he wants to get his girlfriend back, and like,
it's also too because like you're as the audience, you know that, but like they just don't show enough of it to convince you.
The scenes are there, but the actors, they just don't have that rapport.
Gotcha.
Again, that's where Last Stand did really well, is because, well, unfortunately, Cyclops was dead in that movie, but you knew how Wolverine cared about Jean Grey. You saw them for 2 movies before this kind of flirt back and forth, and you knew that he loved her.
Yeah.
And how devastating it was that she was the source of this evil.
Mm-hmm.
Like you feel that moment, as dumb as it was, of her being like, kill me. And he goes, I love you, and stabs her in the gut. Like you felt that moment.
Yeah. Hey, you imagine if Cyclops was in his shoes? It's like, kill me. Okay. I guess I'll just look into your eyes for a while.
Do you have like a gun, or I see there's kind of a big rock over there. I mean, I could will
this branch down and get a steak going. Like a vampire.
I could use my hands a little bit, maybe. I don't know. There's just so many options. How would you like to die? Yeah. So this movie, it's hard to define. It's definitely not as bad as people are saying, but it's not a great movie. There is potential for a great movie in here, but there's also like you can kind of tell where they've reshot stuff, because McAvoy is wearing a bald cap for the reshot stuff. Like it's clear he shaved his head when they originally filmed this, but then they put a bald cap on him when he came back.
Sucks.
But
is it like very noticeable, or like
it's just a lot more clean? Like you can tell it's not his skin.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd watch this movie again. I'd watch it again before Apocalypse.
Oh, that's a good sign, I think.
Yeah. Anyway, hopefully this was entertaining. I'm sorry if it wasn't, me just recounting a movie to Victor, but Victor was sick. Blame Victor.
Blame Josh for picking this movie.
Sorry. I wanted to see this movie. I'm not sad I did.
Wait, how is it for Days of Future Past?
Oh, Days of Future Past is awesome, Victor. So.
Oh, no.
Oh, it looks like we're going to have to talk about X-Men at some point, because it seems that you have a terrible opinion of which ones are good and which ones are bad. I don't know. Anyway, we can talk about that another time. So next week, we're definitely going to go watch Mibby.
Mibby? Oh, yeah, that's a terrible short form of that. Eh?
Mission Impossible Black. Men in Black International, we're going to watch next week for sure. So sorry if you were expecting it this week, but blame Victor's immune system.
So you watch it again, eh?
I mean, not tomorrow, but probably before I leave this mortal coil.
Would you? Oh yeah, you did recommend it.
I don't know though. I don't know. It's okay. It's fine. It's a fine movie. It's okay. There's a lot of it that works. There's a lot of it that doesn't work.
Interesting. Well, maybe one day if I'm on an airplane and I can't sleep and I've seen every other movie on that list.
And I've already stared out the window for 2 hours. Wrap it up, Victor.
Well, thanks for listening, guys. It's been another episode of Average Uninformed. Kind of. A little bit of a strange episode.
Yeah, I hope it sounded okay.
Oh, I'm sure it did. And leave a comment what you think about the X-Men franchise. Because clearly I didn't like it that much, but Josh does.
It's over with.
Yeah.
It's over with.
And if you want to get in touch with us directly, you can email us at averageuninformed@gmail.com. And we'll see you next week for Men in Black International for sure. Right?
Wakanda forever, baby.
That's terrible. So stupid. Bye.
Bye.
And his name is John Cena.